Ossie in British Columbia, Canada. Hey, Ossie, what's up?
Well, I wanted to make an observation in regard to the Citizens United case that was decided by the Supreme Court. And I noted down here, I said the United States Constitution expressly forbids the election of a president born on foreign soil. In light of that stricture, it is difficult to understand why the Supreme Court decided the way it did in Citizens United. That decision directly or indirectly permits super PACs from foreign lands, thereby giving rise to images of a puppet and puppet masters.
Well, here's something to consider, Ossie. Back in the 1980s, the Reagan administration, the charge that was made by Barbara Honegger, who worked in the State Department at the time, and wrote a book about this called October Surprise. And on the back of it is a picture of her with George Bush on one side and Ronald Reagan on the other, in a nice little group photo. She worked for both of them. She claims that Bill Casey, who was the campaign manager for the Reagan campaign in 1980, and who Reagan put in charge of the CIA when he won, that Bill Casey in July, August, September, whatever it was, went over to actually met in Paris with representatives from the Iranians, the students who were holding the hostages, and cut them a deal where he said, they had this military that the Shah had acquired under the United States, from us, and it was all U.S.-made weaponry, but there was this embargo where Jimmy Carter wouldn't sell them any spare parts, or for that matter, wouldn't sell them new missiles to go in their missile launchers. And so Reagan said, or Bill Casey said, we will sell you these things under the table secretly, and in fact, we'll give you some of them if you'll just hold those hostages until after the election so Jimmy Carter loses. And they did. In fact, they released the hostages the very moment that Reagan, raised his hand and said, okay, I'm president. And that was in January 5th, I think it was, of 1981. And that was literally the minute that they let the hostages go, is their way of saying, okay, we got a deal, you got a deal, we're gonna put it out here. And then Reagan proceeded over the next 2 years to sell and give weapons to the Iranians. So the hypothesis, the working hypothesis right now, is that the Iranians are in trouble. Again, they have another embargo, just like they did under Jimmy Carter. They would like money, they would like weapons, they would like all kinds of cool stuff, and they are particularly fond of the fact that George W. Bush, last Republican president, see, they got all these weapons from the Republican Reagan, and then George W. Bush took out their biggest enemy in the world. Iran's biggest enemy in the world was Saddam Hussein, who was a Sunni Muslim. They're Shia Muslims. They fought a 10-year or 12-year-long war with him. Over 1 million people on both sides died in that war. It cost them billions and billions of dollars, and George Bush just took him out. It was the biggest favor that could have been done to Iran. The Bank of Iran was the first large business to officially open in downtown Baghdad, Iraq. And so George W. Bush helped out. That Republican helped out the Iranians. Ronald Reagan, that Republican helped out the Iranians. And now, because of Citizens United, if Mahmoud Ahmadinejad wants to make sure that another Republican gets into office so that he can help out the Iranians, he can do it. So what do you think? What do you think of my conspiracy theory here?
Very illuminating.
Yes, I think it's actually possible that the Iranians are behind the Romney campaign, or are supportive of the Romney campaign. The first time I said this on the air, I thought of it as a joke, and then I started thinking, but wait a minute, George W. Bush did exactly what the Iranians wanted, took out his big competitor. Ronald Reagan did exactly what the Iranians wanted, gave them all these weapons. All this time they were theoretically an enemy of the United States. When Bill Clinton was president and there was an embargo on Iran, the year before the election, in the year 2000, or might have been 99, right around there, the year before the election of 2000, the president of Halliburton authorized a deal to sell drilling equipment and other equipment that could have been used for a nuclear program to Iran. That guy was a guy by the name of Dick Cheney.
Yes.
He was a multimillionaire CEO. So I'm looking at this going, maybe I wasn't, I made it as a joke, but maybe it's more than just a joke. Anyhow, thanks a lot for the call. I appreciate it, and for giving me the opportunity to just go off on my... Patty in Townsend, Maryland. Hey, Patty, welcome.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. I'm fine. What's up?
I just wanted to say that your comment about Ahmadinejad and Citizens United, I think that's crazy talk. I mean, what person in their right mind would accept donations from even a super PAC to which Ahmadinejad has contributed a lot of money.
How do you know?
Well,
Karl Rove's super PAC. Karl Rove's super PAC got a $10 million donation from one entity, right? A $10 million donation from one entity back in 2010 to help flip those elections. And they got another $10 million donation. That was 2 years ago. They got another $10 million donation last year. We know this because their tax returns were just filed last week.
Right.
However, we have no idea who it was who wrote that $10 million check. It could have been Mahmoud Ahmadinejad.
Well, the reason I ask that is because I know that I have to report if I give $100 or more to a candidate.
That's if you want to take a tax deduction. But if you're Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, you don't need to take a tax deduction, so you don't report to the IRS that you gave the money to Karl Rove. I'm not even sure that giving money to Karl Rove is tax deductible. This is where billionaires play and where countries play. This is not where people like you and I play.
No, I get that, but I don't think it's not tax deductible to contribute to a campaign. But they always ask your occupation, and they ask all that information.
Well, that's because there are federal election laws.
So super PACs don't have to report their donation.
That's correct. That's correct. They have to report the size of their largest gifts, and there's a certain slice of that they have to say, we had this percentage of people giving this amount or something, some words to that effect. Stephen Colbert laid this out pretty brilliantly, actually, over the last year on the Colbert Report. But the donors can be anonymous till the day they die. And the super PAC never has to say who gave them the money, and they don't even have to say where they spent the money. So, there's been this revolving door of, for example, in Ohio, there's been one, Sherrod Brown was on this program yesterday talking about it, one right-wing group after another, and they take turns. They don't waste their money. If one of them is on the air, the other ones aren't, attacking Senator Sherrod Brown, who's, a progressive, and trying to take him down, 6 months before the election. Or however many months it is. It's maybe more than that.
Yeah, I don't doubt that there are plenty of people out there who would want to donate, and that Ahmadinejad. I mean, I don't doubt your theory. It actually sounds pretty good. I just wonder, though, if it wouldn't be possible. How could you, with everything you can find out today, how can you not find out who's donating to the super PAC?
Because the billionaires are really, really good at keeping things secret. Patty, I got to move along, but that's really true. I mean, if you try to find out who gave that $10 million to Karl Rove to flip elections in the 2010 election, you won't be able to. Or who gave him the $10 million last year. I think it was the same person, and I think there's a pretty good chance it was Ahmadinejad.